All right, today we're jumping into an absolutely wild story about what happens when you stumble upon the deal of a lifetime, and that little voice in your head that's supposed to scream warning just completely clocks out. Let's get right into it.
So just picture this for a second. You're scrolling, maybe a little bored, and then bam, you see it. The exact thing you've been dreaming of, but for a price that just feels like a type out. You know that moment? It's like all your critical thinking skills just pack up and go on vacation. Well, that is the exact trap we're talking about today.
Look, we all know the internet is an amazing place, but the story we're diving into frames it in a way that's, well, a little more accurate. It's a digital war zone, a place where you've got to stay on your toes, because there's always someone trying to finesse you out of your hard-earned cash.
Now, what's so great here is this breakdown of the scamming world. You've got your levels, right? Level 1, the phishing link. We've all seen those. Hopefully you're not clicking on them. Level 2, the catfish, a classic tale of deception. But level 3, the in-person meetup. Oh man, that's the final boss. That's the high risk, high reward, or in this case, high disaster level. And that is exactly where our story is going.
So here's the setup. Our narrator is broke. We've all been there, but he has this burning, all-consuming desire for a new gaming console. And that combination, no money and big dreams, is the perfect bait. It leads him right into the chaos of online marketplaces. And this is where we meet Billy.
So let's talk about Billy for a second. The source describes him as the kind of guy who just seems to operate on a different plane of existence. You know a friend like this? The one who stumbles through life surviving ridiculously dangerous situations with what can only be described as pure dumb luck. This guy is basically invincible in his own mind. And this quote right here, this is Billy in a nutshell. When our narrator points out that, hey, this deal looks incredibly fake, Billy just waves it off. He's not just confident, he believes he has real-life plot armor. He thinks he's the main character and nothing bad can possibly happen to him. And yeah, this is where it all starts to go downhill. Fast.
Okay, so what was this unbelievable deal? The thing that should have been a screaming 5-alarm fire of a red flag. $100. For a brand of console that costs what, like 5 times that? Come on, man. This isn't a red flag, it's a whole parade of red flags. But Billy's confidence is contagious, I guess.
All right, so let's set the scene. It's 10 p.m. on a Friday. They're not meeting at a police station or a busy coffee shop. Nope. They pull up to a super sketchy neighborhood in a random cul-de-sac. I mean, the atmosphere is already screaming, "Turn back now." This has bad news written all over it.
So, the seller walks out, and he is not what they were expecting. The narrator's description is just perfect. An absolute meat mountain. A dude built like a superhero. Suddenly, the intimidation factor just shot through the roof.
And this quote right here just perfectly sums up the narrator's immediate panic. Every single survival instinct he has is blaring. He's trying to think of anything to say to get them out of there, but it's too late. Billy, the negotiation king, is already making his move.
This is it, the point of no return. The giant seller hands over a taped-up, sealed box. Now, what is the #1 rule of buying something from a stranger in a dark alley? You check what's inside. You open the box. But Billy, he just whips out the $100 and hands it over. No hesitation, no inspection, nothing.
Our narrator sees one last, desperate chance. From the car, he notices the box looks way too light. He screams a warning at Billy, but Billy, ever confident, has an answer for everything. He just scoffs, "Nah, bro, it's the new slim model. You just can't make this up." So the deal is done. The seller gives them this devious smirk and then just melts back into the darkness. Billy gets back in the car, beaming, so proud of himself. He genuinely thinks he just pulled off the heist of the century. He has absolutely no idea what's coming.
And here we go. They rip open the box, and what do they find? Not a console. No. They find 2 bricks, and, in the most bizarre twist ever, a half-eaten kebab. They didn't just get scammed, they got, as the narrator says, cooked beyond belief.
Now you'd think the story ends there, right? Wrong. Billy's plot armor is still fully activated. His solution? He wanted to go knock on the scary giant's door and ask for a refund. A refund. Thankfully, our narrator finally takes control, stomps on the gas, and gets them the hell out of there.
So, after all that chaos, what are we left with? Well, we're left with a $100 lesson. An expensive, embarrassing, and frankly, kinda greasy lesson. But the main takeaway here is absolutely crucial.
And this is the core idea right here, this financial plot armor. It's that dangerous feeling that you're too smart or too lucky to get scammed. It lets you ignore every single red flag because you think, nah, it'll be fine. It'll work out for me. Spoiler alert, it will not work out. So let's just boil this whole disaster down to a few simple rules to live by. First, if a deal looks too good to be true, just walk away. It is. Every single time. Second, for the love of everything, check the goods before money changes hands. And finally, maybe don't let your friend who thinks he's invincible handle the sketchy online deal. Just a thought.
And that pretty much wraps up this cautionary tale. It's a hilarious story, yeah, but it's packed with some very real lessons. And it gets you thinking, doesn't it? What's the closest you've ever come to getting totally finessed? What was that one red flag that made you slam on the brakes and walk away? Thanks for tuning in.